Next up, the NFC East. Starting off with the Dallas Cowboys. Number 17, CeeDee Lamb falls to the Cowboys. And it's, I was on this live stream with Michael, if you watched that during the NFL draft. And I was talking to him. I said, listen, man, this was like pick 14, pick 15. CeeDee Lamb or Jerry Jeudy is going to go to the Broncos. That's what's going to happen because they need a wide receiver with Courtland Sutton. But either one of those two is still going to be on the board. We look at number 17, the Dallas Cowboys. Are they going to draft a wide receiver? They don't need it. But come on. It's Jerry Jones. And I just had this intuition, man, I don't think Jerry Jones is going to pass up on CeeDee Lamb. I just don't see it. And they didn't. And part of the reason I felt that way is because I just remember years ago in the 2014 draft when Johnny Manziel was falling in draft boards. People thought he was going to be a top 5 pick. Ended up being taken 22nd overall by the Cleveland Browns. But then at number 16, I believe it was number 16 when they were picking, Jerry Jones was so close, had a piece of paper in his hand that said that they were going to take Johnny Manziel just because they don't need him. They have Tony Romo. But just because he's like that offensive player that's just so explosive and just adds that extra dynamic to your offense. And I thought, man, if that's the mindset of Jerry Jones, he wants to select him. And obviously, they chose the right person. They chose Zach Martin. So, ended up being a good pick. But let's see if CeeDee Lamb can be a good pick of Jerry Jones. And let's see if he does anything for the Dallas Cowboys. Is it going to be better than Amari Cooper? I don't know. We're going to have to see. But that is a pretty good duo. Pretty good trio if you include Michael Gallup in there as well. So that Dallas offense is looking pretty explosive. Then you get Trevon Diggs, defensive back, brother of Stephon Diggs. Moving on to the New York Giants. With their 4th overall pick, they select Justin Herbert. Just kidding. Just making sure you're still paying attention. Andrew Thomas, the big offensive tackle from Georgia. We were sitting there watching the draft, and I was with my co-host, Michael. And he said that Andrew Thomas is the best offensive tackle in this draft. Now, he said that he wouldn't be surprised after watching film on Andrew Thomas, that he wouldn't be surprised if he goes number 4 overall or he's the first offensive tackle taken in this draft. He was right. The New York Giants selected him. The guy's a freaking genius. No one could have expected that. But the Giants select Andrew Thomas to be a blocking left tackle for their investment in Daniel Jones. Not only that, Saquon Barkley, I get that he was injured, but he also had some struggles running behind that offensive line, so this is going to help them out mightily. And then in the second round, you get Xavier McKinney, a defensive back that people thought that he fell in the draft as well. The New York Giants love the selection with Andrew Thomas and Xavier McKinney especially. The Philadelphia Eagles, the next team that we're going to talk about in the NFC East. The 21st pick was the first pick. We talked about them. We talked about the Atlanta Falcons earlier. A trade candidate, if they wanted to trade back and get more draft capital. We talked about the Cleveland Browns at number 10, how they were a potential team that the Eagles could jump over the New York Jets, the Las Vegas Raiders, the Denver Broncos, these teams that are desperate for a wide receiver. Because if you stay at 21, they're just going to get taken and taken and taken. And then I was watching that draft and I was like, Eagles, where are you? Henry Ruggs is gone. Jerry Jeudy's gone. CeeDee Lamb is going to be taken away. Trade up with the Atlanta Falcons. But they stayed put. They decided to take Jalen Reagor, a wide receiver that had his own pro day, ran an unofficial 4.28 during his pro day. Wide receiver from TCU, they needed speed, and that's exactly what the Eagles got. They had trust that Jalen Reagor was going to be still around, but Reagor is going to add another dynamic to that Eagles offense that's going to help out Carson Wentz a lot. Someone that may or may not help out Carson Wentz, depending on how you look at it, is Jalen Hurts, who is a second-round selection for the Eagles. Does this make any sense? For the Eagles to take Jalen Hurts. Definitely interact with us. We encourage you guys. Leave a comment down below. What are your thoughts on Jalen Hurts? Maybe this was just an insurance policy. They know that, hey, for 2 regular seasons, Carson Wentz has not finished. You didn't finish a playoff game last year, which maybe if you did, maybe you could have beaten the Seattle Seahawks. I don't know. I don't blame those injuries on him. I just think that was tough luck. I don't think he's injury prone. Now, if he had the same injury in his knee was hurt 3 times in a row. Yeah, then that's on him because his knee is kind of like a weaker part of his body. Then he's injury prone. But given that it's vertebrae in his back, given that it's a torn MCL and a torn ACL, given that it's a concussion, these are 3 different things. That's not his fault. It's just luck of the draw. So maybe this is just an insurance policy for Carson Wentz. If he were to ever get hurt, Jalen Hurts could come in and help the Eagles win some games potentially. So then the Redskins, the last team in the NFC East. Chase Young, we predicted that he was going to be taken by the Redskins, with the Bengals taking Joe Burrow, obviously. Chase Young, the best player in that draft. How much can he help that Redskins defense is the question. But Chase Young is a good selection, obviously the smartest selection at that point for the Redskins. And then they didn't have a second-round pick, but in the third round, they chose a wide receiver to pair him up with people like Terry McLaurin, with Steven Sims, these guys that came on the scene last year. Young wide receiver group, young quarterback room. Let's see what's going to happen with the Redskins offense. But good draft by the Redskins as far as their first 2 selections.